this is actually sounding amazing. Okay, I just tried out some stuff and this actually sounds pretty cool. What is up guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a cool UK garage beat in no time. Ready? Let's go. Okay, we start by setting the tempo of the project to 134 beats per minute. Next, we're going to go grab a kick drum. This one is nice. Add another one here. Then take everything here and then copy it across. Next, we're going to go grab a clap. This one is nice. Put this on every second beat. Then we're going to go for another clap that we can use for ghost notes. This one is nice. Go into the sampler settings and turn on a little bit of low pass filtering. Turn down the velocity for some of the hits. And then remove this one here and this one here so it's not so repetitive. Awesome. Next we're going to do some hi-hats. Let's do the standard offbeat hi-hat. Then try to find another hi-hat. This one is nice. Copy this across. Then I think I'm going to need this one for like a downbeat. Turn down the velocity a little bit. And then we're going to layer this offbeat hi-hat. And then copy this across. And now we have something like this. And then I think we're going to add a little bit of extra notes here. And use this one. Pretty awesome. Okay, and then we highlight everything. And then we're going to quantize this. So it's get a little bit more swingy. Then we go into this sampler. It's called Battery from Native Instruments. And we're going to pan this open hi-hat a little bit to the left. Then we have this short hi-hat hit. We're going to pan that to the right. Then we have this other hi-hat. It's going to pan a little bit more to the right. Then we have these small like extra hi-hat hits. We're going to pan those to the left. We get a little bit more stereo feel to the drums. Then we go to the snare drums. This one is nice. This is fine. We're going to highlight this and also quantize this as well. Next we go grab some rim shots. This one. Gonna have this on the downbeat. And then we're gonna find another one. This one. Put this here. Only have this one playing here. Then we highlight everything and quantize it as well. Awesome. Then we go here to the pattern and split everything by channel. Then we get all of the separate instruments. And then I want to add some drum loops to fill up this groove that we did. So I have this loop from Splice. We're gonna time stretch this to fit the tempo of the beat. And then I'm gonna put this to my mixer track. Then we're gonna play this together with the rest of the beat. Okay, so I want to pull out this part here so it's not gonna be too repetitive. And then this part here, do a small crossfade here. Then we're going to highlight this and then duplicate this across. Then we're going to put in another drum loop, make this fit the tempo, and then put this to a mixed track as well. Then we're going to cut it here because I don't like this other part. That's actually it for the drums. I'm going to add a bus compressor on the drum bus just to glue everything together. And I'm going to turn down some of the hi-hats and the other top loops. Then on the drum bus, I'm going to add an imager just to spread out the frequencies a little bit. So splitting up the top end and also the high mid end and also a little bit of the low mid. So it gets a sense of being more stereo. And then lastly, I'm going to add an EQ. Give it a small boost at the top end. And then we're going to reduce the drum bus a little bit so it's not going to be too high. Next we're going to do some chords. I'm going to use the plugin called Scaler to create my chords. I want to do this in D sharp minor. Then I'm going to find some chord variations. I think I'm going to put this to Okay, I think this is what we're gonna work with for this tutorial. So I'm gonna drag the MIDI into this Wurlitzer E-piano that I have. Then we're gonna spread out these notes. I'm gonna duplicate this across. Maybe put this down, this one, put this down. And then maybe we could layer this with like this one in the top. Maybe have it go down like this. I think this is really cool. It's a little bit more mellow. So we're gonna go into the Wurlitzer, turn up the volume. Then I send this to a mixer track, put up RC20 just to add some lo-fi grid to it. I like to increase the gain in RC20, then reduce the output gain, so we get like more input signal into the plugin. Then I'm gonna add an EQ just to remove some low end. And then I want to add some delay in Guitar X6. Maybe have this at a straight 8th third. Yeah, this works really great. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of sidechaining just to make it pump according to the beat. Like around here. Let's try to play this together with the beat. Okay, so now we're gonna add a bass. We're gonna do this in the root note, so that's D sharp minor. Okay, so I made this pattern here. I'm gonna duplicate this across, and then we're gonna pull this 1 octave down. Then we're gonna highlight everything, and we're also gonna quantize this. I have routed this to a bassline mixer track. I'm gonna send the kick drum as a sidechain input trigger to the bassline. I'm gonna set up a fruity limiter, so it's gonna act like a sidechaining compressor. So I select the sidechain input as the kick drum. I put the threshold down, put up the ratio to around here, and then set the envelope settings like this, and then we can play it together with the kick drum. And then the bass line and the kick drum are routed to a low end bus. And then I'm gonna add an EQ and just gonna boost the low end a little bit. And I'm also adding an exciter. So it's not affecting like the low end, the sub part of the bass line and the kick drum, but more like the upper harmonics of the bass line and kick drum. Pretty awesome. Next, we're gonna add some vocal chops from Arcade. I think this one is actually pretty cool. I think I'm gonna use this all the way across. And we're also gonna take all of these and quantize them. And these vocal chops are being routed to a mixer track. I have a cool preset in Guitar X6 that really adds a lot of character to vocal chops. And then we're gonna add a little bit of, and then we're gonna add some side chaining in the shaper box, just a little bit. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that I've made a 4-hour online course that teaches you how to make a UK garage style track from scratch. The course is divided into 9 lessons where you learn everything from programming your drums, chords, bass lines, structuring your song, turning that 8-bar loop into a full song arrangement, and also doing some mixing and mastering. I built this course with everything that I wish that I knew when I was starting out producing. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description down below to learn more. Let's get back into the video. Then we're gonna add another vocal sample into the project. This time it's from Splice. Sounds like this.
Think about you.
We're gonna time stretch this to fit the tempo of the project. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna chop up the sample with a function called beat shuffling. So go to chop, complex, and beat shuffle. So you get like small bits like this. And then it's just a matter of finding all the bits that sounds really nice. So we could actually just maybe take this part here. I think this is a great way to add some really cool flavor. And then we're gonna select everything here and just duplicate this across this vocal sample and sending it to the same mixer track as the other vocal chops from Arcade. So they have the same effects put to them. Pretty awesome. Next we're gonna find a synth pad. So I'm gonna copy the MIDI pattern that we use for the piano, and then gonna put this into analog 5 where I have a string sounding pad. And what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna remove this chord here and then also these upper ones, so we only have this one playing. Okay, so I changed the synth pad to this sound instead. Then we're gonna send this to a mixer track as well. We go to the mixer track, so adding a high pass filter and also removing some of the high end. And I want to add some sidechaining on this pad as well, but just a tiny amount. Next we're gonna add a cool lead melody. So I found this one. We're gonna try to make a cool melody. We're gonna put this F sharp down to F. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna add a ton of effects on this and then add a heavy sidechaining. So I'm gonna route this to a mixer track. I'm gonna add a high pass filter, just remove the low end. Then we're gonna boost a little bit of this area here, also up here. And then we wanna add an exciter, go before the equalizer. Just to add a little bit of drive. Put down the mix. Then we're gonna go to Guitar X6. Then I'm gonna add another of my presets, crunchy verb. Turn up the input. Really cool. And then we're gonna add some side chaining. Let's try to listen to this together with the drums. I think we're gonna remove this part here and then reuse this part, just to not confuse the listener. And then you can see this one is actually out of, gonna move this part here. Also this part here. Okay, so I think this melody is pretty cool. Let's just quantize this as well, so it's got a little more swingy feel. That's actually pretty awesome. Next we're gonna add some stabs, and I have this really cool plugin called Melodistron with a lot of delay and reverb. So basically what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna reuse some of the chords that are in the piano. Then I'm gonna route this Melodistron to the mixer track as well. We're just gonna add a little bit of EQ. Okay, so we're ready to split up the pattern 7 into all of the different elements, and then we can just drag in all of the elements. So I want to add a little bit more of chord stabs. So I go to one of my sample folders. I have this one. This one is actually pretty cool. So I actually want to reverse this. So hit reverse. Then I'm gonna send this to a mixer track. Then I'm gonna add some reverb to give it a tail, a little bit of decay. Then I'm gonna add an EQ just to remove any unwanted low end. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. So we can actually use this like across. Then let's look for some more sounds. This one is pretty cool as well. So we can just use this as maybe also like as a reverse thing. And put it into the same mixer track as the other chord sweep. Then maybe I can have this playing here and here. Turn down the volume and let's listen. I think this is a really, really cool effect to add some more movement to the track. So the last thing is that we're gonna add a little bit of texture loop and some FX sounds. So I'm gonna add this vinyl crackling noise. Put this to a mixer track, and and then add a filter just to remove any unwanted low end. So right here. And then we're gonna turn this down. Next, I'm gonna add some field recordings. Yeah, this one is pretty cool. Send this to a mixer track. So what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna add the shaper box. We're gonna add the panning component. Set the rhythm 1 pattern here, so we get like something like this. Put this to Hertz mode, so it's unsynced. Put down the speed of the LFO and the mix to around 50%. And then we're gonna add a sidechain, so it's pumping according to the beat. And then turn down the mix a little bit. And then I want to add an EQ just to remove again some low end and also a little bit of the high end. And then of course we're gonna turn this down so it's not too loud. So we have like a really, really cool atmospheric loop in the background, so to add some warmth and texture to the track. Next we're gonna add a crash. Turn it down. Gonna add some small zaps here and there. Could be here. Then I'm gonna pan this a little bit because I'm gonna use a lot of zaps in here, so just to add some interesting to the stereo field. So this one, maybe this one is also pretty cool. Pan this to the other side here. And we can use this here as well. And then this one is pretty cool also. Maybe have this playing here. And pan this to around here. I'm gonna reuse this again here. Then I have this effects noise from Splice. There's something building up. Then I have this nice down sweep effect. Put this to the time of the project. Just pumping downwards, pretty awesome. And then this like classic UK garage effect. I think I'm gonna have this play here. And then I'm gonna route this to a mixer track because I want to add a little bit of delay. So something like this. And then of course we're gonna add some EQ just to remove low end and also the high end. Pretty awesome to have this playing. Could actually also add an auto panner. So pulling up the pan-o-matic, set it to panning. And now like the tail of the delay is like going from left to right. And then lastly like a small reversed cymbal, like here. So that's actually it for the effects. So let's listen to everything together. Lastly, I'm just gonna add an limiter just to make sure everything is not clipping. Okay guys, this is how the UK Garage beat turned out. I just freestyled and tried out stuff and this was the result. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, it means so much to me if you smash that like button or even subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for some sound inspiration, you can go to my web shop and browse some of my preset packs and sample packs. The link is in the description down below. So I hope to see you in the next video. Take care, peace.